Alright, I think I left off on this slide. Cost of merchandise available is 1,020. Your FIFO cost of ending inventory is your 389 or 386 minus the 2. That's how much you sold. That's the dollar amount of merchandise you sold. That's the dollar amount you have left on hand. That's how much you bought so far. Okay. Next, here's your comparison between the three different ones. Okay, so if you use FIFO, again, these are the same numbers that we just used on the previous slides. Okay, so if you use FIFO, here's what it all looks like. Merchandise, this is how much you had at the beginning of the year. Your merchandise is 188. Here's how much you bought throughout the course of the year, was 832. This is how much you had available for sale. All you had to do is add those two up. That's how much you had on sale. That 1,020 you saw already so far on the previous slides. Now, the inventory at the end of the year, this is what you guys just calculated. FIFO was your 386. Here's your 386 that you just found. That's 673.6. Where is that? To get your cost of merchandise sold, you have to take your 1,020 minus your 346.4, and that's where that 673 comes into play. Your weighted average, again, all you have to take your 1,020 minus your 367.2. And that's where that 652 comes into play. Okay, so notice all three of these numbers are different. So if I ask you to use the FIFO method and you end up using the LIFO method, notice that you are going to have some incorrect numbers. Okay, or if I ask you to use the weighted average method and you use your FIFO, you are going to be off. Okay, so knowing how to do these are going to be important. So right here, relative cost of ending inventory. Right here's your ending inventory. If you use your FIFO, you're going to have the highest amount of ending inventory on hand. 386 is greater than 346 and 367. So the dollar amount that you have of ending inventory, FIFO is going to be the highest. If you use LIFO, it's going to be the lowest. Okay, this is cost of ending inventory. And then naturally your weighted average, because you're averaging, that's going to be in between. Okay, if you look at cost of merchandise sold, so now looking down here, your 634, your 673, and your 652. The cost of merchandise sold, your 634 is going to be your lowest. That's lower than 673 and 652. Okay, so depending upon what you're looking at, if you're looking at ending inventory, your FIFO is going to be the highest. If you're looking at cost of merchandise sold, your FIFO is going to be the lowest. Okay, so here's kind of the visual comparison between the three of them. Okay, now let's get started on the work together. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can read this a little easier as well. Alright, so the work together, calculate the cost of ending inventory using FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average methods. There are 16 units in ending inventory. So 16. So here's where that 16 comes into play. Since we're using our first in, first out, our FIFO method, our first ones at the beginning of the year are already sold. They're already out. Okay, first in, first out. We got them in January, they're already out. Got them in March, they're already out. Okay, we have 16 left though, so now we got to work backwards. On November 8th, we purchased 9 of them. Okay, so we still have all 9 of them left over. However, we still have 7 that we still have on hand. On that August 28th, we bought 8 of them. We still have 7 of them left on hand. Okay, so that's where that 7 comes comes in because we had 16 left over, all 9 from this purchase, and 7 of this one. Okay, add those all up, that comes out to be 50. The total cost, again, all you have to take is your 14 times 30, 9 times 32, 10 times 34, 8 times 36. That's where all these numbers come into play. Add them all up, and that's 1678. 16 left on hand, so take 9 times $38, that equals your 342. 7 times 36 equals your 252. Add these two numbers up, and that is where your 594 comes into play. Okay, so right there is how you do FIFO. Now, if you already, these are the same numbers, same example. So if you already use the same example on the LIFO method, now last in, first out. So we got these last, so we are going to get them out first. Okay, so now LIFO is opposite of your FIFO. Okay, so since we got January 1st last in, because we're looking at the end of the year, last in was right there. First out, or last in was down here, first out, because we still had these left over. So 16 units on hand. We have 14 from the January 1st still left. And then we need 2 more, so 2 of the 9 are still left over from that March 29th purchase. Again, these, add all these numbers up, equals your 50. Here's all your unit prices. Again, take your 14 times 30, equals your 420. Take the 32 times 2 equals your $64. This is how much we have left on hand. Okay, so total cost right there. The amount that we have left on hand is right there. And add those two up, and it's right there. Okay, so we just did FIFO right there. We just did LIFO right there. Okay, that number is the same. This number is still the same. So all these 3 columns are all the same so far. You still have 16, however, we pull the 16 from a different spot. You are off almost, what, $110. Okay, that's how different it is so far with just small numbers like this. FIFO, you're at $594. LIFO, you're at $484. Now, if you scroll down to your weighted average, okay, your weighted average, here's how many units you have left throughout the course of the year you purchased. Here's your unit price. Again, that's $16.78. Okay. Calculate those over. So 14 times 30, 9 times 32, 10 times 34. So that's where all the total cost comes from. Add those up. That's at $16.78. Again, these columns are identical. If you look right there, it's still the same as up there, and still the same up there. Okay. So these numbers are all the same so far in all 3 methods. However, where you pull from is what's going to change it. Okay, your method. So you take your 1678, that's your total of beginning inventory and purchases. Your total beginning inventory is this, plus all of your purchases, to get 1,678. That's at 1678 right there, divided by the total units. Okay, so we have, throughout the course of the year, we had 50 units. 14 for beginning inventory, and then we purchased an additional 36 throughout the course of the year. Okay, so take your 1678 divided by 50, and our weighted average price per unit is your $33.56. Okay, we have 16 left over. All you have to do is take your 16, so the amount that you have left over, times your average, so 16 times 33.56. And that's, and that's where your, darn it, and that's your cost of ending inventory, $536.96. Okay, so if you look at your cost of ending inventory, $536.96, $484, and $594. If you go back to comparisons, it shows FIFO should be, if you look at your ending inventory, FIFO should be your highest. Okay, right there is your 594. That is your highest. It says LIFO will be your lowest, which 484 is your lowest. Okay, and then 536, that falls right in the middle. Okay, so if you look at your comparisons, FIFO is going to be your highest, LIFO is going to be your lowest, and your weighted average is going to be in between. This was exactly backing that up. Okay, that is your work together. Terms and review, first in, first out, obviously. First in, first out, that's your FIFO, F-I-F-O, first in, first out. LIFO, L-I-F-O, LIFO, and you have your weighted average. Okay. Section 2 is by far the biggest for importance. Okay, so if you run into any issues or if you have any questions, please let me know. Because if you don't understand one of these three, it'll probably screw you up on your test. Okay, so if you do have any questions, reach out to me. I'm also available. And then we have our conference call or our hangout coming up yet today too. All right, talk to you later. I will record section 3 here shortly, and I'll get that posted.